One thing that LSU has not necessarily been tested with yet, Jake, that will be on display tomorrow morning, it's the deep ball, right? Mississippi State is a great passing offense. They do not threaten vertically. We all know that's not Auburn. That's
right.
Not Florida State. And then obviously it's not Southern and New Mexico. So it is Tennessee. It is Tennessee to their core. They have now Cedric Tillman, I believe, is going to be out. I know they're saying day to day, but from reading Tennessee, like local news, the belief is that Cedric Tillman's not going to play Saturday.
Are you going to like the local news?
Are
you doing a deep dive?
Well, every now and then well, not every now and then. I generally read a couple of kind of reports from the local team just to get an idea of a little behind enemy line scouting. So
I did see a quote from Hyatt, who's the other receiver. He said Vols will miss their leader Tillman if he can't play, but we can succeed without him. So that makes me think he's not playing.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing. That's the overwhelming belief. He still technically could, like Heupel's leaving the door open, but I don't think he's playing.
College injury reports are so hard. I mean,
yeah,
you try to hide every single thing. I mean, it's just not like the NFL, so you never quite know. And so you have to chase ghosts a little bit, because if I'm Matt House and I'm LSU, I'm seeing the reports, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that, and look, you got sources everywhere if you're at a place like LSU or Tennessee or wherever. So you're trying to use all those sources, and you think you have an idea, but like in the back of your mind, you're like, what if he shows up? I've got to have something ready. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying chasing ghosts, something that's not really there, but you think it possibly could be there. And so that's what you have to do as a coach in college, because you don't have the NFL system of injury reports and to see if they've practiced and to see exactly where they're at, because in the NFL, like, you have to do those things. And so even though you might not think he's playing.
But do you think that changes in the gambling era? Because isn't that one of the big – I mean, I don't know if that's one of the big reasonings behind – but I guess I've always heard that theory kind of posited that that's one of the reasons why they did that. But
he did have if I'm correct, Tillman's working with a tightrope surgery, correct? I know it was an ankle procedure.
Yes. Yep.
Right?
Yep. High ankle sprain, tightrope surgery.
And it was after the Akron game.
And
so, I mean, this would be the timeline, but regardless if he even is in this contest, when you have that surgery at that position, you're not going to get 100% Cedric Tillman. Now, still going to be a good football player, but even if he plays in this game, just that injury, even when you're coming back from it, we've seen players all across the board come back from it, and it takes you a little bit to get kind of reintegrated into being full speed and being able to make the cuts and do all those things.
Yeah, and so, okay, so maybe Tillman's not going to be there, but you're still going to have vertical threats, so you have phase 4.
The only thing that matters is you have Hendon Hooker.
Yes, because Hendon Hooker throws the best deep ball probably in college football. And
I wouldn't even say the receiver portion of it. Now, you might, I mean, it's a part of the story, but Hendon Hooker's the guy. I mean, he makes this entire thing work.
So I guess the bottom line question is, can Jared Bernard-Converse and Mekhi Gardner hold up?
They have so far, but I think it's a great point that you make.
They've looked great.
Offenses that you've played, even the ones that specialize in throwing the football, it's been intermediate routes because that's what their offense calls for. But Hendon Hooker will, I mean, he'll test you on the sideline. He'll test you in the middle of the football field deep. He doesn't really care. He has the ability to make every throw in the route tree.
And as we talked about yesterday, when this Heupel offense, like one of the core tenets of it is literally just putting the receivers as close to the sidelines as they can be. Like, let's spread the field out as much as physically possible. And, Jake, I can't fathom what it feels like when the team's on the opposite hash to be a corner lined up one-on-one about 30 yards away from the ball. Like, you want to talk about feeling like you're on an island? Feeling like you are truly separated from the pack? Like, that's some lone warrior mentality that you got to have there. So, we don't see.
So I'm looking at their passing chart right now, and I'll see if I can get a screenshot of this to Danny. But T-Bob, if you'll look at their passing chart right now, I mean, they throw the deep ball, but they throw it to the right side way more than they throw it to the left side, and there is no middle of the field deep shot.
No.
That is pretty interesting. So we'll get a screenshot of that. We'll kind of show you
that's the edges,
exactly what we're talking about. So when you see that and they have those tendencies, you have to know that as a safety as well. Now, it's not to say they won't throw a a 10-yard, a 15-yard, an 18-yard dig route. We're talking about those shots. So they're not running, a bang 8 across the middle where they're just throwing it to a spot and allowing you to go get it. So as a safety, if I know that, and I know that they have a tendency with Hendon Hooker to take more shots to the right side, your left if you're a defense, then the safety has to know that as well, that, hey, yes, my normal rules tell me middle of the football field in this coverage, but I can, in some cases, maybe cheat to the left side and not maybe the middle. It could be a step, a step here, a step there, whatever it might be. But they'll break it down to this little nuance of where their passing chart actually is.
Yeah, I think the only thing then is do college kids, can they
remember that?
Remember that and then employ it in real time? That remains to be seen.
On that note, hey Danny, can you pull up that passing chart that I sent you on Twitter?
That's what Rasputin used to do.
All right,
he used to tell me he would have sex with him until the demons.
Is there a way
out.
to put it just and get us off the screen? Okay.
I'm gonna sex the
All
demons.
right, so listen, stop, T-Bob. This is the Tennessee passing chart. Okay, and if you're listening on radio, just go back and watch this on YouTube. Okay, so we're looking at the passing chart for Tennessee and where they've liked to take their deep shots. And as you can clearly tell, on the right side, all of these dots, now blue and green and yellow, it means completion, incompletion, intercept, whatever. But you can tell where they want to throw the football if they take a shot. There is only one deep shot that's in between the hashes, a single deep shot. So your safeties can see this chart, and they can get a pretty good idea of what they have to do. Now, you don't abandon because, look, they'll try to break this tendency, but not near as many on the left side, a ton on the right side. And now, intermediate, that's a hell of a chart. Hendon Hooker's going to take that 10 to 18-yard intermediate route. He's going to take that wherever you give it to him. But deep shots, it is a clear he likes to go to his right side.
I mean, that is as firm of a visual representation of a tendency as you will ever see. Also, you talk about splitting the receivers out wide. Just look at everything on the edges. I mean they are attacking your flanks.
They're dapping up the coaches on the sideline out here. Yeah. I mean, that is, you're on the out-of-bounds line. I mean, that's crazy.
They are attacking the flanks. Classic military strategy.